Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make some crochet shorts. So here are the materials that you will need. I don't know the exact amount of yarn that I used since I was using scrap yarn, but I would guess probably one skein, maybe two of your average skein of acrylic yarn. We're going to start off with a slip knot. Then I'm just chaining 11 stitches. We're going to turn our work and then single crochet back into each stitch. When you reach the end, chain one, then turn your work again, and we're going to do the same thing, single crochet back into the back loop only this time. So if you see your V, you're only doing the back loop. This is going to make a ribbed pattern for us, and it will be the band of our shorts. We're just going to continue this until you reach the desired length of your band. Then we're going to connect the band around using a slip stitch. So you'll go into one stitch on one side of the band, then another stitch on the other side, and do a slip stitch. Once the band is connected, we're going to just single crochet around the band. It can be a little hard to see where we need our stitches to go, so I'll explain that in a little more detail. So if you can see right here, there are two loops kind of going diagonal, and then there's a space in between them. So looking at our two loops, I'm going into the second one and doing a single crochet. Then I'm going into that gap in the middle and doing a single crochet. So here's the pattern: two loops, gap, two loops, gap. We're going to go into the second loop, then into the gap. We're going to continue this pattern around until we reach where we started on our single crochet. Make sure to go into that first stitch with a slip stitch. Now if you're ready to change colors, you're going to pull up a loop and cut it off. Make sure to leave the loop that we were just using to crochet in its place. Now we're going to connect the two colors using a magic knot. I love this method because it makes it a super tight knot and you don't have to worry about it coming out. So we're going to lay the two different colors going horizontally. You're going to take one of them and wrap it completely around the other color, and then we're going to tie a knot. So just pay attention here in the video to what I'm doing. It can be a little tricky at first. So the second color, we're just wrapping it all the way around, and then we're tying our knot. Then you're going to just pull on each end and make those knots come together. We're going to pick up with our loop that we were using and continue doing double crochets all the way around. We're going to keep doing this until we reach the rise of shorts that we'd like, and anytime you want to change colors, make sure to do the magic knot method. I promise it's worth it, and it's so easy once you learn it. A very important tip for once we reach around our first row is you're going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we did. Then make sure you go into the same stitch and do your double crochet. Then we're going to continue on with our double crochets all the way around until you want to change your color again. I've now reached the rise of shorts that I'd like. We're going to roughly find the center and place a stitch marker. You're going to go around and count the total number of stitches, then divide that number by 2. This way we'll know where we want to put the center seam for each of our leg holes. You're going to use that number that you counted and count around from your stitch marker. Then we're going to take our crochet hook, place it in, and connect our yarn using a single crochet and then a chain 1. This will act as a double crochet. Then we're going to continue around doing double crochets till we reach the other stitch marker. For our middle seam, we're going to chain between 10 to 20 stitches. This will make the inseam. I did 15 stitches and I liked how it turned out. We're going to join it with a slip stitch where our stitch marker was. And now something that is really important, I made this mistake, make sure that you're holding your project the correct way. The band should be facing you and also the outside of the shorts should be facing you. If you're not holding your work correctly, your stitch could be facing the wrong direction and it will make a difference. So we're going to continue our double crochets until we reach our chain part. So when we get to the chain part, it can be a little tricky to actually see where we're supposed to insert our hook. There is a little X that you can see, and we're going to insert it underneath the X. So let me show you a little bit closer. Here's our X, and we're just going to do it right underneath that. Insert your hook and do your double crochet. It's really not a huge deal if you can't figure out where to put it. You can just kind of guess and your project will turn out, but this is just a little tip if you're having a hard time figuring out where to put your hook. We're also going to want to make sure that we're doing the same amount of rows on each of our legs so that they're even. I'm working on the second leg now. I attached the yarn with a single crochet, chain 1, then I just double crochet all the way around. To finish it off, I'm just single crocheting around each leg hole with the same color of yarn just to make it look a little more uniform. So I'm inserting my hook, just doing a single crochet and going all the way around with my single crochet pattern. Once I reach the end, I'm just going to pull up a loop. I'm not going to slip stitch into that last stitch. Then I'm taking my yarn needle and I'm going into the first stitch's V. Then I'm just going into one loop of the last V that I just made. Next we're going to weave in that tail. I like to go back and forth 3 times. I just feel like it makes it a little more secure before I cut off that tail. For any tail that we have connected using a magic knot, you can just clip that off. You shouldn't have a problem with it coming apart. For any other tail, we are going to do the same thing, weave in the tail, going back and forth 3 times preferably, and then cut off our tail. This part is optional, but if you'd like to make a tie for the waistband, what we're going to do is start with a slip knot and chain as many chains as fit around your waist with a little bit of extra so we can actually tie a bow. We're going to leave a long tail when you get to the end, pull the yarn through and make a little knot to secure those chains. Then we're going to insert our yarn needle and weave in the chains that we just made. So I'm placing my shorts down and finding where that back seam is. I'm going to insert my tie a little bit to the left of it, and I'm deciding how to weave in this tie by using my ribbed pattern. I'm going every 2 lines that I can see just in and out to make it as uniform as possible. Make sure when you reach the end you leave a little spot for your bow to be, and then we're going to cut off those long tails. And here is our finished project. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm happy to answer any down below, and thank you so much for watching.